interesting point. You told me of a story of a housekeeper who is basically had her own business, and she had to reinvent after the pandemic. She needed to provide for her family, and what she's doing now is cleaning houses.
And it's a humbling moment, and it's a humbling portion of her life. But I can promise you that beyond the humbling moment, this is a warrior. She's a warrior.
Yeah.
And when I go in somewhere and I start to look for people, and you ask me who my friends would be, okay, I could be a trillionaire, that I look for the warriors.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am, and so what I saw in her, she does not need and deserves to be in that, but in this humbling moment, she's loving it, and she's embracing it, and she's a queen in my eyes. And that's why it's so important. When we sat and broke bread at home, and that I have a home, because thanks to my friend, he taught me foundation, and I when you go through hard times, you stop self-loving, and it drives you crazy because everyone tells you to love yourself, and you're like, what does that really mean? Because if you spend on yourself, you're spending too much if you don't have any.
Yeah.
There's all these condensations on what true self-love is, and it really does come from that time where you're like that eagle in your cave, and you're deep plucking.
We're talking about self-love, but one of the aspects of self-love is also giving, all right? And that's what you're going to be doing tomorrow, okay? And as you said, you're living from paycheck to paycheck right now, okay? Right now, all right? And the little that you have, you want to share with people, because this is your celebration, and you just don't want to have a party, but you also want some of the inhabitants to enjoy, you know, even if it's a treat from you, you know? What are we going to be doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're going to be going into, okay, so in my documentary, there are pieces that I got to save. And one of them that's on my Facebook says it very clearly about La Perla in Puerto Rico, to me, what that means. It's the hood. And while people are going around them, I go in them. Yeah. And I don't have that prejudice of what people are in there and who do I have to bring to protect me. I'll go without y'all, and I'll walk by myself without a camera and without even a light, because God's my light. And when I'm in there, there's people like when you're born into circumstance, and it's up to you to know that there is a way that you can rise from every circumstance.
Yeah.
And you should be proud of the neighborhood. So I'd like to have a fund, not where we just feed. I'd like to create funds where we actually put money in, and it's so easy if we focus on each local to just, how many locals do you have in St. Martin? What's the number?
Well, we have a couple of thousands. Let's say 40,000
let's say
on that side. Yeah.
Okay, and how many on the French?
On the French side, let's say 20.
Okay, so let's say we have 60, 70,000 residents today.
80,000, yeah.
80,000. So with 80,000 residents, even the hungry can take and find 4 quarters. And if everyone, one day, and 23 is my number that God's always guided me as a little girl with the number 23. And ironically, there's a lot of angels that fall under wearing the 23. So if on a 23rd day, we could agree that all 80,000 residents that are census can responsibly that day go to a certain location and drop $1. That's $80,000 that we could in one day bring to this community.
That could make a massive
difference. In a nonprofit where no one gets to, other than for supplies, to build these homes back up.
Yeah.
We got to start with the foundations, because that's what I was taught that brought me back even here to talk about it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a full circle.
Yeah. You know, I'm happy that I'm a part of it, and that I can go with you and document this, because this not only is therapeutical, this not only is something that you want to do, but I think is needed, all right? Every country, every island, we share the similarities, and poverty is one, okay, in different districts, and And we're not going to make people rich. We're going to go and celebrate what is, the redemption and give to them.
So my goal, and I'm putting this on my documentary today because this is God's given and no one can take this away. My goal is exactly from island to island, country to country, state to state, that we unite music because it's about rejoicing and dancing. We come together as a group, and everywhere we go, we put $1 out for your place, your home. And then we take those funds and we make the Gisi nonprofit fund internationally. That 100% of that money is used on supplies and whatever philanthropists need, and of course with my great accountants to keep Gisi, because I am going to give it all because it's not mine to give.
Yeah.
So it's not yours to hold. Not the Gisi fund, not the government, no one. This is strictly 100% for the people of each and every government.
Just to leave you know that right under this screen you will be seeing where you can send any money whatsoever to help this cause, and of course contact information so that you will know how to contact Gisi International in the philanthropy work. Tomorrow is a big day. Are you excited?
I'm super excited because, first of all, what I love about doing these kinds of things wherever I go is watching who jumps in.
Yeah.
And the idea of having people in cars and going to neighborhoods, we had it to 1, and in the 1, all of a sudden 2 came, and if we really wanted to, we could have ended up with 6 or 7. I'd like to make a day in St. Martin where all cars that can join forces, and in each car there's food loads, and we go from neighborhood to neighborhood feeding.
That's great. I like that. Gisi, I have some questions that some of your